And yes, it is my intentional parenting journey. And we have Dr. Dina Nwanali right in the house. You want to actually listen to her. She has loads and loads and loads and loads of conversation on this journey. I am particularly excited about today. But yes, I told you earlier that maybe we can do an association of doctors in the inner circle. Yeah, you guys are overwhelming us. Please, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It is a very absolute honor to have everyone again joining us this morning. My intentional parenting journey have been something that, have been very exciting for a whole lot of us. I don't know about you, but me, it is really exciting for me. I've heard series of stuff. In fact, I'm like, this whole thing. Yesterday we were blown away. We had Roots Baba. We're constantly being blown away, every day, every minute about these journeys. So today we have Dina Nwanali, and she's going to be sharing with me. It's interesting. Yes, I've met Dina Nwanali before. Yes, I met her in Lagos, just in Lagos. We even took a picture. Yes, and yes, it's so exciting to actually now see the, put faces with the name. But of course, the name Dina Nwanali has been a very constant K name, that I know. And she said she was surprised when I saw her, and I said, "Oh, Dina Nwanali." She was like, "Okay, you remember?" Yes, so some faces are just there. You just gotta remember them. If you can see me, you can hear us. Please, let's put your comment in the comment section and tell us that you can see and hear us. Alrighty, so that you can be part of us. Have you shared this link with someone? Few days ago, somebody said to me, the only thing that saved my children was that I came in contact with you. If not, would have been in trouble by now. Someone is looking at us, someone is watching us, and is thinking, I don't really need to tell anybody. It's not really a big deal. Put it on your status, put it somewhere. Get people to just say it. You never can tell who will be saving you or whom you will be saving. It was Brenda, architect Brenda, that said she just saw a status announcing the TIP Summit Lagos. And she went there, clicked, registered, and that was where her life turned around. It could be you. It could be you. Oh, by the way, I can see that some people are looking at my classes. This is my latest collection. Yes. And one of my mentees said it yesterday. I'm excited. And I just saw it open it. I said, I'm going to wear these glasses today so that I can prepare you. Shout out to you, Bicola Phillips. Yes, and I love it. Alrighty. So, Dr. Dina, tell us, talk to us. How did you get into the inner circle? How did you get into the inner circle? What brought you here? How did you meet? How did you get here? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, coach. Good morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much, Ma, for the privilege and honor to be here this morning. I do not take it for granted at all. Thank you so much, Ma. All right. How did I get into the inner circle? I think it was sometime 2021, 2022. I was strolling on Facebook, and I saw some posts, that coach used to drop then. I'm like, okay, because parenting is something that has always interested me. And one of the things that I have feared the most in my life before I joined in Inner Circle is the fact that I'm always afraid not to raise children that will be misfits in the society. I've always had that fear that will I be able to raise wholesome children? Will I be able to raise children that will be responsible in life and also have impact on others? That has been one of my greatest fears. So when I saw a post on Facebook, I thought, okay, let me check out this person. So I kept, the Tuesday live. I would just come in, I would listen. After a while, I just called my bestie, Dr. Mary. I'm like, girl, are we not going to join this inner circle? I think we should join. Because the first time I actually saw your posts on Facebook, I actually called her and I'm like, okay, I think I need you to check out this person, and both of us were consuming the tips and hacks, like you say, on Facebook. And then by December of that year, I had to register and I drag her along to that. we have to be here. And that was how I joined the inner circle. And it has been bliss all the way. It has been bliss all the way. Thank you, Ma.
Amazing. Amazing. You have in the building, Dr. Dina Nwanali. And she said something. She said, I had to drag my bestie. This guy, can you come? Let's be going. I just remember that recently something happened. And I just sent a chat to my friend. And I said, are we doing this or not? And she said, I don't know whether I say we please wake up, let's go. She said, okay, we should move. Let us move. I said, correct. That's how we move. I love it. I love it. All the people who pull their friends along, that is a shout out to you guys. And yes, that is one of the reasons where we are. And I don't know if it's doctor. So, Dr. Tina, are you the one dragging the doctors? Are you the one dragging your friends, your colleagues? I don't know who is dragging who, right? But of course, we have quite a pool of people, right? We're still doing the cohort leads. We're doing review of their year. And I was trying to compare what they did and what it is that we had. We still had, the professions and all of that. The questions we asked at the beginning. We're like, what's happening? Do people do seminars on parenting in that circle? That it must be. I don't know what else to do, attribute it to, but we're finding it. We're going to find it. If you're watching us live, you are live with Dr. Dina Nwanali, and she's sharing her journey with us. She's a Lagos Yaba, and she said, I joined because after consuming the tips and hacks, I just saw that, see, this thing, I just got to run, man. Let me just get it. And she pulled her friend, Dr. Mary, and they are here in the inner circle together. Talk to me, Dr. Dina. What is it that struck you when it is that you got into the yard? What happened? What was that thing that gave you that? So where have I been?
Okay, so when I entered the inner circle, the first thing that hit me was when coach said, parenting is about me. Parenting is about you, the parent, not the child. I mean, come on, it's called parenting, not childing. It is not childing or childrening, so it is parenting. So I got to know that for me to be able to parent well, there has to be some form of change from me first. Because, like you always say, novices cannot raise geniuses. And novices can't read Genesis. You can't parent a whole human being from the place of still knowledge or zero knowledge at all. So for me, it was about me being transformed first, because really we cannot give from an empty cup or a half cup. So when I got to the inner circle, I found out that my personal growth is the number one thing in parenting. My personal growth is the number one thing. So most times when all the tools, all the webinars, when coach gives us the webinar of the week or of the month, I don't see my children first. I see myself first. As how does this affect me first as a parent? No matter what is being taught, no matter what tools we are doing, I sit down and I look at myself first. Okay, this is about me first, because if this is not impacting me, there's no way I can translate it to my children. Okay, so that's one of the things that hit me when I came into the inner circle. And I got to know also that parenting is a ministry. The moment you became a parent, you have just lost your ability or your freedom to behave anyhow.
To be able
To be anyhow. There's no more anyhow. As long as you have brought a human to this earth, you have lost that liberty to behave
yes, sir.
anyhow. So for you not to behave anyhow, you need to like improve on your existing knowledge. You need to improve on your existing, and then run with those who have been there before. Run with those who know. Because you really, before I joined the NASEC, I was like, man, I know book now. I said I can hack this thing myself. When the thing started hitting me bad goes, I had to run into the inner circle. I was like, no, this one is not medical. This is one is not medical. It's not career knowledge thing. No. And it's not, I know where I'm coming from too. There are some things from my background I didn't want to replicate also in my current family. The fact that there was no real connection, parents, child, that kind of, so I didn't want that at all for my children and I. So I wanted a situation where we could bear our mind. My children could, they could tell me when I did something wrong without, being afraid. So when I got into the inner circle, all of these were just open to me. I found out that, no, Dina, you need to change. You really need to change this and this side here. So each webinar, for each class we had, is like it's like a bulb of onion. So I just keep like unwrapping, and yanking off some things that some of the things I didn't even know that were existing in my life that was impeding my parenting journey. So that first, as I sat down that first, I'm like, no, I can't live here. Oh, I can't live here. And that's how I stayed all through the year. The first year, it was more like I was just getting acquainted with the whole system, you know. And I had to redo year level one, because I'm like, okay, no, that first one was like a preamble, like an introduction. Let me sit down and assimilate this thing. So for my second year, it was much better, and I was able to understand more and then implement more. Even though I'm still going to do year one again, coach, please. I'm still going to do level one again. I'm not in a haste. I need to grab this thing as much as possible. I need to grab it. So it's basically about me. The when I got there, it was just like your personal, you are here for yourself. You are here for
Mm,
yourself. And that's one thing
mm,
I never knew before I got into TIP. I was thinking, okay, I'm coming to learn how to really handle these children that, that are just like they wake up every day and they're trying to hurt me. But I got to know that our children don't wake up in the morning to like, today, I'm going to get daddy and mommy angry. Today, I'm going
mm,
to be different. They don't. They are just like an open book. And each
mm,
chapter, they just read through their chapters. And it's just for us to be able to help them navigate. They are also trying to, navigate, trying to get to know themselves. So we as parents, we're not supposed to make it harder for them. So getting into the inner circle taught me that my personal growth is paramount if I have to do parenting well. Thank you, coach.
amazing, 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 amazing. We have Dr. Dina Wanele in the building. I like her name. I like the way it sounds, the rhyme. Dina Wanele. All righty. So yes, of course, we are here. I see Pastor Chris Kadiri. Pastor Chris Kadiri said
Hey,
we are
that's my team
we
lead.
are not. Oh, really? That's awesome. We are not in a haste. We repeat, we keep repeating. I see Giorgio Molara saying, if you're not in the inner circle, where are you now? Like, where are you? Dr. Dina was saying something when she was talking. She said, growing up, we didn't have a lot of connection. If we're going to really be sincere with ourselves, we sit down, we review our parenting, review where we're coming from, you will realize that there was too many gaps. There were
Mhm.
there were there were too many gaps. There were too many things that happened. There were too many friction, between parents and children. And it came not because they wanted to, but it came because they just didn't know how else to do it. They felt that if we connect with these children, then we're going to be in the place where we will lose authority. They didn't understand how to navigate that space. So most parents just became the emperor, the conqueror, the lion is here. And of course, after everything, that was just it. So we couldn't connect with them. And they brag in this, but you turned out okay after everything. You are doing very okay. I did it because I wanted to train you well, without knowing that there are issues, there are fallout. Now the question I keep asking parents is that the fallout, is it better? Can you compare the fallout comparatively with the result that you have? Now, the second question is, can you do it better? Is there a way to maintain order, to train your children to fulfill destiny, and still yet maintain the relationship? Because at the time where our parents were supposed to become patrons and matrons to what? Mentors, they can't fill in those gaps. Most of us do not have parents who sit in that position today. Instead, it's the other way around. We are now the one, trying to chaperone them, and all of the rest of the things that happen in our family. But it's very interesting that sometimes we don't even know it, because we are successful. Our own determination of success, in quote, is that we are doing well. And doing well is you're making money. So once you can make money, feed yourself, buy a house, buy a car, you have done well. Every other thing is not useful. But there was something Dr. Dina said. She said, when you get into the inner circle, it keeps it peeling you like an onion until it gets to this, part of you where you now begin to you keep saying it, you keep saying it, you keep going, and all of that. And then you get to the point where you are actually really going. And you begin to see that some of those things have been a lot of cover up. We cover up with a lot of things. We cover up. We don't want to meet ourselves. We don't want to meet our real self. Sometimes you don't even know who you are. Who you are, and you're looking at it, and you're wondering when you now start, coming in contact, meeting you. Sometimes you are even afraid of who you've become. One thing that the inner circle does to you is that it gives you that mirror. You're able to see you. You're able to walk that journey. And you're able to sincerely tell yourself who you are. So I once met a parent, a mother, who said to me that, oh, that she's not the problem. She's looking for solution for her husband. Her husband is this, is that. She wants her marriage is cracking. And one of the things I said to her was, while I understand that the man is all that, have you also searched your soul to see whether you are a contributory factor to it? She said, no, it's not me. We are raised with hypocrisy and self-righteousness. That's what we're raised with. So that's one of the things that we project all the time. So I said, do you know what? Do me a favor. Leave this divorce, leave this chasing this marriage, leave this everything. Do inner circle for 1 year. When you're done in 1 year, come back. Let's have this conversation again. Just be patient. Like we say in Igbo, the way the thing, ne dear man. And then after 5 months, she comes back to me. She was in tears and she said, I didn't know that I had a problem. All the while, I thought it was my husband that had a problem. And she said, I kept seeing myself. And I kept seeing myself. He said, I'm no longer chasing anybody to change. I am chasing me. Most times, we're very interested in pointing fingers because that's what we were raised with. We were told that someone is always to be blamed for the things that we did, or for the things that we did even ourselves. Because our parents will pour a glass of water and the glass actually pours, the water over pours. Maybe they are talking to you. Then they turn around and blame you because they were talking to you. That's why the water overpoured. So we learned not to ever take responsibilities for the things that actually happen. So our parents taught us. They even say things to us like, "You are the one that is making me shout all the time." How do you now? That's the thing we do. So we end up giving responsibility for the things that we do to the next person. So we live a game. We play a game of blame. Our game is the game of blame. I know we keep telling ourselves. We won't come in. That's why we come into the inner circle with that attitude. I call it Adamic parenting. Everybody is wrong, but you are the only one. Adam never agreed that he collected fruit from the woman. Adam refused to agree. It's not him. It has to be the woman, it has to be the serpent, and everybody blamed everybody without taking responsibility. So we play the blame game. We even come into the academy with the blame game mentality. My children are the issue. I love what Dr. Dina said. She said, every time a tool drops, a webinar drops, I look back, I apply it to myself first. How does it apply to me? Because you cannot give what you don't have. So, are you going to add another vocabulary to our dictionary? Adamic parenting. Yesterday was last man parenting. Today is Adamic parenting. Let's go there. So, we have Dr. Dina Nwanali right here in the building. If you've not shared this link with someone, do that now. Dr. Dina, talk to me. How has the inner circle impacted your life, your children? You can share a story about what happened, with your children and where it is that you are now, your marriage, your career, whichever angle you want to take it from. We're here all for it.
All right, thank you, Coach. Okay, so I'm going to start with myself first. Because of my temperament, I am prone to fears and laid backness sometimes. And I know if you follow us through the journey of why you act the way you do, anyone that read that book, you will know the temperament I'm talking about. All right. So over the years, I had some fears that has been stopping me, in doing some things I needed to do. I know that there was a time coach was saying, I think one of the tools, one of the tools we did was swimming. Let everybody go and swim. I didn't like to swim. My children, they learned how to swim. I was the only one in the family. My husband too knows how to swim. So I was the only one swimming and driving. I had that morbid fear for those two things. So this year, I told myself, you see, this fear, I've been in that second, but I've seen a lot of transformation. I'm like, no, I can't be this. So when we went through that book and the strengths, the weaknesses, I told myself, these two things we're going to conquer it this year. And thankfully, I told myself before my birthday this year, tomorrow is my birthday. I told myself before my birthday this year, I'm going to conquer these two things. And I've been able to do that. So the swimming and the driving, I've been able to achieve that because of TIP, because of the things that I'm learning from it. Secondly, I was a structureless person right from way back in school. I study group, form, timetable and follow through. But then if I meet people that have a structure of, okay, this is how they want to study, I'll just join them. But when I got into TIP, I learned that I learned that emotions don't deliver. What delivers are principles, systems, and structures. These are the things that deliver your results to you. And I look back, some of the mistakes I made when I was in school, if I had known this, I'm sure I wouldn't have made those mistakes when I was in school because I didn't have structure. And even generally, my life as a whole. So, but when I got into the TIP system, I learned structure. I learned system. In fact, my husband was even amazed because he used to tease me sometimes. You tell me some things and I would just laugh around it because of the way my attitude to things. But when I got into TIP, a lot changed. In fact, one day my husband told me, Ne, you're changing, like I'm saying you give yourself to a lot of personal development. I'm like, yeah, it's from TIP. TIP is making me is making me it puts me on a hot seat for myself. Like I can't rest on my comfort zone. So I keep taking the next step of development because of TIP. I see coach, I'm like, I see the other yadas. I'm like, if people can, these people they don't have two heads now, So I keep pushing myself, and that personal growth from before I joined TIP and now, the transformation has been very, very, very evident. For even my husband, that is like my most critic, to be able to say, no, you have really grown. I know that yes, that transformation has happened. So that's one thing about for me how TIP has helped me in my personal growth. For my marriage, yes, I used to like think that my husband was the problem in parenting because he in fact, sometimes I'm telling you, you don't even read parenting books. You don't listen to any. You don't go. I invited for seminar. You don't do anyone. How do you know? How do you know how for us to raise these kids well and all of that? And he tells me, "Don't worry, I know." So at some point, I think the first year I was in TIP, I had that issue like, I wish you can join me. And this is sometimes I'll be very resentful. Let me not lie. I will just resent him. I'm like, you are the problem here. If you had been in TIP, you will know that this is not how it's supposed to be. You know how coaches do say. So, but later on, as we started learning, achieving more with your spouse, how not to be so pompous with the knowledge you are having. You just do your own. I had to stoop to conquer. I had to stoop to conquer, So I am like, okay, what I just do, I'll just go and say, God, I know that both of us have same goal of raising these children, even though it's not in TIB yet, just help me that I will not use my hand and be spoiling the work that coach is doing in our life. So as I'm learning, let me just face my front and be doing. So when I had a different mindset, not resenting my husband for not being in TIP and all of that, I now started applying the things that we are being taught, you know, the structures, putting down structures. When I put those in and paste them in the children's room and it comes, it sees them, we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to join you in this, without forcing him. When I made the media guide also, and I brought it to him, I'm like, okay, this is what I think we should do concerning media system in the home. And he went through, he was like, okay, he agrees. So when I put up the structure that, okay, weekdays, no TV, no screen and all of that, he agreed. So there was a day that I think during the early times he actually forgot, and the children put on TV those early times. So when I came, I was like, who put on the TV? He had his dad, and I went to him. I was like, I thought we agreed. I said, oh, he forgot. So he went back and switched it off. So there was no force. Even if it was before, I would have just been angry that you're trying to sabotage my efforts and all of so so for me, for the fact that my husband sees it and says, you have changed. I knew you before. I knew you before. The things that used to cause quarrel before, they don't cause quarrel anymore. I'm like,
Mm.
that's the work of TIP. That's the work of TIP. So that's it. For my marriage, is really helping me flow a lot with my husband. I'm able to let go some things because of emotional intelligence too. I'm able to, know how to respond, from all the webinars, honor as a skill. I learned the things I learned. I'm implementing it without even shouting about it, without arguing, anymore about it. So he himself has seen that it was like my first confirmer that you have really changed. So and then the tantrums in the home, all of the bickering and all of that, they are all at the barest minimum. So now we can spend more time joking and laughing over some things than all the cold war that used to exist, especially for me. Because
Mm.
Coach Chiedozie taught us peace as a skill. He said they may not be war. It's not like people are fighting, no, but there is a cold war. That's how
Mm.
I used to relate to my husband before, because I felt
Mm.
he was sabotaging the effort I was trying to bring. But when I got more knowledge from TIP, I knew that I was going about it the wrong way. So I had to take a U-turn and got it right. And now we have this. Now it flows easily with me when I bring some things up that, okay, don't you think we should do this like this? And he agrees. So that's one that TIP has really helped my marriage. It has really helped my marriage in that aspect. Then for my children, at the beginning of this year, when Coach talked about creating your parenting goals, I wrote the goals I needed in my children. There are three of them. For each of them, I wrote the different goals I wanted to see in them. And my second child, I'm going to talk more on my second child because he had speech delay, like I shared a while ago in my cohorts. And before I joined TIP, we had a lot going on with him and with us because of him. From the school, at home, his interaction and everything. But when I wrote those goals, I recently looked at the goals I wrote down for him, and I've seen that almost everything I wrote down, from the spiritual intelligence goals, the emotional intelligence, the social interactions, everything has just been like there has been a whole lot of improvement because I was able to write down those goals. Okay, this is what, and then implement it. You always say that the tiniest of implementation is far greater than the largest of intention. It's not enough to say, okay, this is what I want in my child, but I was also doing those tools. I was also doing those tools, and I was seeing the result in my children. So for my second child, I had speech delay. Before I joined the inner circle, we struggled. He didn't
Mm.
talk well over 4 years, you know, and I I kept trying to help him. My background, medical knowledge, and some other um, certifications I was able to get in special needs together with my husband. We were just trying to see. But when I got into TIP, almost all the tools, I just saw that as we do the tools, I kept seeing accelerated, improvement in his life. You know, he just broke out in words. He started communicating more. His social interaction got better. He could recall things unlike what we used to struggle with before. For someone that while he was in school, when they bring in fact, we don't even bother looking at his result. When at the end of the term, let me just confess. So when they come home with their result, for him, we will just keep going first. We will look at the other two and just try to like get ourselves happy because we know that okay, when we got to him, we're not expecting much. That was the story before. But now, this is a child that now stands in the assembly ground making a presentation and very clear in his speech. He's able to understand when you talk to him. He's able to give you back what even when he reads a particular part of the scripture, he's able to explain what he does his assignment himself. I don't even help anymore. So all of this happened more when I was in the inner circle, when I started inner circle. So this is one aspect of uh, my parenting journey that has had so much growth. Then for my other children, my youngest child, also part of the goals I wanted was to increase their spiritual intelligence at the beginning of this year. So sometime around May, I now decided, okay, everybody, we're going to be doing scripture verse every day, one verse per day. Between May and now, he just turned 6 last week, but he has learned well over 100 verses. And he will come and tell me, Mommy, every day he comes to learn. So during the summit, when Coach Jose was talking about the typical Christian child, and comparing to the Muslim child and all of that the Muslim, they tend to read their Quran more. So I felt to myself, okay, TIP has helped me. I'm getting this part well, you know. Um, so the whole thing, down to my firstborn, the first time I allowed my child to go to school alone, that was 2 years ago. She was 9. I remember coach saying, "There's no lion out there. There's no lion out there." Before I will stress myself, carry all of them to school, or then come back before I start getting myself ready for work. So one day I now told her, "See, Mama, they're going to go to," she was 9 then. I said, "You're going to go to school, walk to school alone." The distance between our home and their school was about 10 to 15 minutes walk. So I told her, okay, you want to go, just go, walk to school. When you get to school, I'm going to call your teacher, one of your teachers, to be sure that you're at school. I didn't tell my husband. He wasn't at home. I think then he was on duty, as a medical person. He was on night, so he was not at home that morning. So my daughter left for school that day. And after some like 15 minutes, I called the school. "Did you see my child? Is she at school?" They say yes. So that was how we started that journey of allowing her to go to school on her own at age 9. So she told me one day that she was walking to school as usual, and she saw her classmate's mom and her classmate on a bike, a boy. So immediately the woman saw her walking alone. The woman just stopped the bike and said, "Wait, wait, wait, wait." She came down, asked her son to come down and also walk. And that was the end of the woman also taking her son to school, because she was like, if this girl can walk alone to school, why am I following you, this big boy? Why am I suffering myself every morning? So when she got back home, so she told me that the boy told her that, "Mommy, because of me, so person's mom stopped the bike, came down from the back and asked him to walk, that she's no longer walking him to school." So it was a very, very funny experience for me. So, but then in all, for my children, there has been so much. Sometimes my neighbors, they feel that, are you not stressing these children? I'm like, no, I'm not stressing them. I'm like, the fact that we are I'm increasing their responsibilities and all of that. It doesn't make them like I'm stressing. I'm not. Even my mom, when she came for the holidays, she told me that, you're giving these children too much. I'm like, what am I giving them? That they should do the dishes, or they should clean their room, or my first child, who is already 11, should be ironing clothes. So one time she told me jokingly, she told me that she's going to call child services for me, or that I'm overusing these children. I'm like, no, Mommy, I'm not overusing them. I'm just giving them the appropriate responsibility, and I'm doing it from a place of knowledge. And all thanks to TIP for that. Then in their school, of course, in their school, they know me. They know my husband. We are very intentional. Because of my children, I had to make my work very flexible. I had to, so that I can have time for them, attend school functions, attend to their emotional needs and all of that. So at school, because I know that I'm also a major stakeholder at the school, I have a very good relationship with the head of the school. I have a very good relationship with her and even the other teachers. So sometimes when I drop my children, we have time to talk. And when I tell her some things that I'm saying and some things that need, even the feedback they give me from the school about my children, you know, recently she told me that okay, she will need me to talk to all the parents in the school. She's going to invite them, maybe during a PTA meeting, and I'm going to teach them something of parenting because she has also learned so much from me. So we are working on that already. So from all the fronts about them, these children have been so amazing. I'm not saying that they are perfect. Of course, no child is perfect. We are still a work in progress, but there has been so lots tremendous change from before TIP and after TIP, as in while I'm still in TIP. It's been a very tremendous growth, and I'm so thankful for that. Then also, coach, my career, TIP has taught me how to separate emotions from actual. Before I used to write on emotions. Like there was a day I walked into the ward. I was about to see my patient, and I walked into the ward, and a particular parent, her child was on admission, and immediately she saw me, she told me that I don't want to see you. In fact, your presence annoys me, and all of that. And I'm like, okay, but you're just meeting me for the first time. And she was like, she just wanted to see somebody else, and she went all ranting, and I just kept calm. I allowed her to finish talking, and okay, and that's okay. I clearly understand your pain, you know. I think I know what is happening to you, ma. So I spoke to her in a way that after talking, I left her because she didn't want me to attend to her child. So I left. Before I could finish my ward round with other patients and go back to the consulting room, she came back to apologize to me that she was actually sorry. But me, I know myself before. If it was before I got knowledge in CIP, or my she was talking, I would either walk out on her or I would tell her, madam, the feeling is mutual. I don't want to see you too. And I would just leave. Because even as a doctor, I have the right to see or not to see my patient, just like you have a right to for a doctor to see you or not. But TIP taught me emotional intelligence. So I kept, in fact, when she was talking, I placed my hand on her shoulder. I was like, I understand how you feel. I know your daughter is very ill and this is all coming from, but it's fine. If you don't want me to see your daughter, it's fine. So I left her. And she came back to apologize. This was an elderly woman. She came back. I'm like, TIP, you do this one. Oh. TIP, that's it, you do this one. So the things that would have just made me like explode or implode, I've been able to control my emotions under such situations. I didn't know this before I joined therapy. I didn't know it. So I just want to say thank you so much, Ma, for all you're doing for us so far in the circle. Um, there's been a whole lot.
Okay.
There's a whole lot. I know some time ago I told my daughter to do something, and I told her, okay, do this one, don't do this one. It was in the kitchen, but she ended up doing everything. And she came out and said, "Mommy, you taught me that I should always go the extra mile when I'm doing something, not the basic." I'm like, okay, somebody is learning. So I'm just too grateful. I'm just too grateful. TIP has really, 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 really done a lot in my life. I can't deny it. Thank you,
Amazing,
man.
amazing, amazing. If you're just joining us, you are listening to Dr. Dina Nwanali. Dr. Dina Nwanali is streaming live all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And yes, when I tell you that we have an association of medical doctors in the inner circle, maybe Dr. Dina should be the leader. I don't even know who is the leader now. See Dr. Selena inside. See Dr.
Dr.
Happiness.
Bola,
Well, they want to just run us out. In fact, and I saw the introduction of the people coming in, and I was saying, I am Dr. This person. I said, what's happening? Do they used to ring bell for you people? What is the issue, guys? Alrighty. Yes, you are here. I love what Dr. Dina said. I don't know who else heard. She was talking about, when she met the woman in the hospital, and this guy, come on, the feeling, the feeling is mutual for me. Like, why do you not like me? It's okay if you don't want me to see you. I'm cuckoo fine. Let me go back to my consulting room and sit down. Am I even telling you that I'm looking for people, patients to see? Like, really? And but when you actually get into the inner circle. One of the things that, whether you like it or not, you're going to be able to learn is your level of emotional intelligence is going to just improve. You don't need to do anything. You just need to be there, attend the courses, practice the tools. You begin to see, you begin to extend grace that is not toxic. It's not the toxic grace, too. The ones that you are extending grace, but you are resenting the person. There was something Dr. Dina said. She said, I used to actually resent my husband for not, doing the inner circle tools, for not being in the inner circle, for not, and all of that. So something that you would have said gently, you will say it grudgingly. That example she gave is a very valid example in many homes. Because I've worked with thousands of parents over the years, I know that these things happen. You've created the media plan, people have agreed. Then when you now come back, the man is now flipping through TV. Instead of you to say, no, that's not what we agreed now. Did you forget? You say, hey, that's why you are sabotaging all my effort. I have been doing everything to ensure that I raise the children well. You will go on and on and on and on. And the man will say, I'm not putting it off. Whatever, let it be. Let it happen everywhere. Fire everywhere. You now say, it's my husband. She's the one that is not allowing me. Coach, I've done everything. My husband is not allowing me. It's not true. There's something wrong somewhere. When people tell me I've done everything, that's my trigger, right? That's a pointer that you have not done it. Once you say I have done everything, there's something wrong with that statement in itself. So it gives me that insight. So okay, there's a self-righteousness kind of thing that is around this space. That tells you I've done. There's nothing else to do. So you now come back and you now say things like, oh no, it's not, I've done everything, my of course you will not understand. You not Are you married to the devil? What is you not understand? Whenever I hear that thing, coach, you not understand. You don't understand. You're not married to the devil, you're married to a human being. Even the devil, there's something you give the devil and he will sit down in a place. What are you talking about? So yes, that is something that is a huge, part. And she said, when I started to do it differently, the man is now asking, hey, is this my wife? Like, is this you? Are you sure? This was happening to you? People, every time that you truly actually transform, something actually happens. People are able to see transformation is a key aspect. It's not hidden. You can't hide transformation. So all these, I'm really trying, I'm really doing a lot. If you have to tell yourself that you're really trying, you're really doing a lot, there's something wrong with that. I'm really trying. Don't try. Do it so that we can see. So don't come to me and tell me you've done everything. I've been doing all the tools, everything that I have done. Oh, my children are not changing. Ma, sir, can you leave your children alone? And I'm taking time to speak to new yarders because I know that there are a lot of new yarders are here. Come in for yourself. Shine the light on you. That's the way your child transforms. Dr. Dina was sharing about her son. She chronicled the testimony, can even shared video in her cohort of her son speaking, and all of that. But when the guy finished, he said, hope I was able to, how did he even put it? Hope I was,
Oh my God, it was amazing. Oh my God, it was amazing.
I was like, come on now. For someone who couldn't, who had speech delays, to someone who can stand, in a crowd and speak. And Dr. Tina said, see, I'm a doctor. I've been able to, learn speech delay, learn this one, help my son. I was doing all of that. But until I started to implement the tools, most times, we're not even doing the things. You're just on the top. telling yourself, "Ah, I've done everything. I've taken speech therapy." You know the truth. A child who is delayed in speech, the solution, I dare say, is not a speech therapist. The solution is in you. But most, even the speech therapist will tell you that you are the most important factor. But
Very true, coach.
most times we don't want to do that part of you being the most important factor. You want the speech therapist to just do everything. Give my son words. Let him just, talk. I have paid you, and you take off. It's not by like that. If you are not in the process, if you have a child who has a delayed speech, I mean being in the process indeed. Trust me, that child won't still be able to speak because
Yeah.
it is in the see. So the human brain is actually connected, right? To connect human beings. It's not built to connect machines. So the brain is a meaning making machine. And for it to make meaning, it needs to
Mm-hmm.
connect,
Yeah.
communicate with real human beings. So that's when people say, oh, the screen, children, we need to really, talk on the screen and all of that. And if you watch it, it's screen. These are all screen issues, right? A child starts to watch screen the moment they are born, and they are watching screen to 2 years. You're destroying the brain of the child. It's simply put, the child is going to have impeded speech delay. We're not having more children who are not talking early. What do you think is happening? The brain cannot connect. A child less
Yeah.
than two, I've screamed it every time, have no business, less than two, have no business with screen. No,
Yeah.
there's no business at all.
Very
If
true.
you want to actually really help yourself, from 0 to 4, your child has no business with screen.
Very true.
Coordinate and organize yourself. Use the tools. The inner circle tools are so, they are the ones that will give your children that momentum. See, if you take out TV in your parent, you will achieve more results than when you have it.
Very true. Very true.
A lot of parents do not know that, right? But you think that the television is your. So one of the things you are going to learn in the yard is that we don't. It's not television parenting. Aha, that's another one. It's not there. You will gadget parenting. All this parenting you do with gadget, mba. You will do parenting by yourself. You heard Dr. Dina say, I had to change the way I work so that I can
Yeah.
recreate my availability. I have changed the way I worked over the years. My husband has changed the way he worked. There are things that I can do now I couldn't have done, many years ago. And then it gives your children the permission to connect. And she was sharing of how her daughter can work, to school and do things. Again, there is no lion anywhere. But don't listen to us and go and put your child on the road. Oh. There is what to do. Oh. There is
Exactly.
what to do. Come into the yard and you will hear what to do. You have Dr. Dina Nwanali, and Dr. Dina Nwanali is sharing her journey all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Dina, talk to me. What will be your top 3 webinars? What is it that they did to you?
Okay, coach. Before I get to the top three webinars, please, I still want to say something about special needs for people who think that they have special needs children and we inner circle benefit them. I want to tell you that if for any of if your child has any additional needs apart from the basic needs that children have, let's say your child is struggling with speech delay or autism or ADHD, cerebral palsy and the likes, you need to be in the inner circle. You need to be in the inner circle. I'm currently working with a parent. In fact, I'm still going to have a meeting with them today. And one of the things I'm going to, because I'm going to share the modality of managing, the child has speech delay and even bordering on autism. But one of the things I know that I'm going to talk to them is enrolling for inner circle. Because even while I work with the child, they also, because I told them already that for your child to make progress is about you first as a parent. You need to
Mm,
have a different mindset about this thing. I'm the therapist, I'm going to be working with your son, but your involvement is even needed more than me coming to help your child. And one of the ways I'm when I'm having the meeting with them today is to tell them about enrolling for inner circle because I've seen how that has helped me personally with my child with that problem that we had. Okay, so very recently, 1st of October, was public holiday. I didn't go to work. Like I said, I had to change the way I work. If it was before, doctors don't go on, there's no public holiday for doctors. Even on Christmas Day, you are there. But I had to change how I work. And on the 1st of October, I had to be at home with them. So we decided that, okay, let's go to their friend's home to just play with them and all of that. So as we were leaving, we packed our Legos, building straws, Scrabble, all of it. In fact, it was like I think we were traveling. Meanwhile, it was just the next 4 houses away. So we carried everything. When we got there, that particular parent, so they put on their DSTV, and but my children even they were not even watching it. My children don't watch even we don't watch TV within the week. So she noticed it, and I'm like, ah. So the children were just focused on the building blocks, the Legos, and all of the things the educational learning materials we came with. And she called me, was like, your children are now watching TV. I said, better put off your TV because we are in band A. Your meter will be reading. They don't want TV like that. So I told her that, I had to mention inner circle to her and all of those things. She was like, oh, really? That she will find a way to save up and come and join and learn that because she's just amazed that how children don't watch TV. These are the things that I had, and then for me to be able to achieve that, I have to sit my kids down and tell them that, okay, we are doing this for this reason. I'm not just shutting the TV out on you guys, but this is the reason why we're not going to be doing screens. So my children don't even have tablets. They don't have tablets. It's not like, in fact, I told them you're not having tablets yet. No
Yeah.
smartphone. So all of those things I removed before when I had my first child at 4 months. Now I'll just put a big game in front of Coco Melon at 4 months. It was God that saved that one, and I continued with the second. Then the trap now caught me for the second child, and I saw what I was doing wrong. So when I have the opportunity to see parents that have special needs, one of the things I tell them is take out screen of all forms, particularly if your child is young. Then then they'll tell you that, but they are learning. I say no, they're not learning. Learning is a two-way street kind of thing. It's not a unidirectional. The person on the screen is just talking to your child. Your child is just moping. There's no feedback. What your child needs to learn is not on the screen. It's in the streets. It's out there. It's not interaction. So
Yeah.
get the child to interact more with fellow human beings and not dummies on the screen. So these are the things that has helped us also. And I got to know this in TIP. So
Mm.
that's it for us. So for anyone watching and your child has any form of special needs, please get yourself in inner circle. And if you're in the inner circle, avail yourself of the tools. Start doing the tools. If you're not doing it, start doing them, and then you see your transformation. All right. Thank you,
Amazing.
ma.
Amazing. I think I love that. I love that part. I love that Dr. Dina added that part. Being able to also help. I see a comment in the comment section. So I packed puzzles and building straws and body game to a hangout. And I went to bring the things and I heard someone shout, "Who is the yada in this party? You can't see a yada." Really impossible. We move with ease in a
Yeah,
yadaric manner. There are things that you
yeah,
do. You see someone, you say, "Are you a yada?" It's a very straightforward. There's a way we do. There's a way we do things. All right, Dr.
yeah.
Tina, talk to us about the webinars that you have used in the second. And if you're a parent who's listening and saying, "No, all these things, my children are really learning on the tab. They're really learning a lot. They're speaking." Somebody who told me they're speaking Queen's English. I say, "Oh, shit, Queen's English speaker." What you do not know is that your child's brain is being rewired. That's what you
Yeah,
don't know. And there are a lot of
yeah,
functions that are being shut down. Alrighty,
yeah.
Dr. Dina, over to you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so I think for the webinar, for each of us, the webinar meets us at the point of our needs. And so we have different webinars that are so dear to our hearts. I'm not saying that all the webinars have their impact, but the one that hits you at the point of your problem, at the need of a problem, for me, first is executive functioning skills. The webinar we had in February because of course, again, the challenge I had with my second child. I needed to move him so fast, So that webinar, coach, my notes That webinar had like the longest of pages of notes for me because I kept taking notes. I went back, I went back again. I'm like, but they didn't teach me this thing in class. So like even the class that I paid for to become a certified therapist, it was not as elaborate and extensive as this, So I wrote a lot on that note and I started like, okay, I've gotten all of this thing. Let me start implementing and see if this will happen. And it was just it. At some point, I think before then, one of my son's teacher called me one day and asked me, "It's like you are overloading this boy with so much information because whenever maybe they ask a question, he dates back to previous happenings and starts from there and starts." So I knew that okay, there's something I have to do on his working memory. So when
Mm.
about working memory and ability, all of those all
Yeah.
of those things. So I went to sit down with that and I'm like, okay, how do I work on his working memory so that he doesn't go off course when talking and all of that? And we have been able to achieve that. Call him and ask him, okay, what happened to you yesterday? As he's able to tell you what happened. Call him and tell him, okay, this part of the comprehension. Before when we were reading comprehension, he cannot recall. But after that webinar, almost I sat down like, wow, this is it. So executive functioning skill was one webinar that I truly, truly appreciated in the inner circle. The second one would be who am I parenting? Who am I parenting? Again, like I said from the beginning, parenting is about us, as I know, what you are giving, what you're impacting on your child. So who am I parenting? All the children that God has blessed me with. Do I really know them beyond their name, the names I gave them? Do I know these children? If in the middle of the night I'm waking up, I'm like, okay, this is your child. What can you tell me about? So that webinar opened my eyes to the fact that my children have their various uniqueness. The fact that they all came out from me doesn't mean that they're all the same. So I cannot use a particular style for all of them. So I have to learn each of their learning styles. I have to learn each of their strengths, their weaknesses, and know how to navigate each of them. So what I would say to this person as a way of correction may not be the same style I'm going to use for this person because I'm able to understand even their temperament and all the things that work with them. It was in the inner circle I learned about learning styles. So this translated helping me to know who I was parenting, who I'm parenting even up to now. So that will be my second webinar. Then the third one would be raising the girl with sense. That webinar, hey, in fact, like I said again, first of all, I ask myself, am I a girl with sense like this? So
Mm.
I looked at that webinar. I'm like, ah, before that day, I was supposed to take my daughter out for a one-on-one mommy daughter, hangout.
Yeah.
So when I saw that I was going to have that webinar, I delayed the hangout until after that webinar. So after the webinar, I think the following day or the next 2 days, I took her out. And a lot of things I shared with her came from that webinar.
Mm.
And then the feedback also was very, very heartwarming because she kept asking, okay, mommy, when is our next hangout? So she kept looking forward to because of the things that I was able to share with her about, money does not have a gender, all of those things that could told her that it's not about your physical appearance. You're a girl with sense. Your brain power should be more, out there than what you think you look like. So as young as she is, she has understood that part of her that is not about the looks as a girl. It's not about that. It's more of what she's going to impact into the society. So these are my top three. There are other webinars. I'm going to talk about honor as a skill. That one. When that webinar was on, I ran out to go and get my earpiece was still plugged on my ear. I ran out to go and get something for my husband to just, like, okay, okay, this is where I'm coming from. I was still listening. In fact, it was so funny. I'm like, okay, so honor as a skill, rest as a skill, peace, all of them, all the webinars I've just been, they've had, and then even the voice notes. I was listening to one of these my parenting journey. I think I can't remember the person you had on the guest like I am now. and I was catching a replay. I had to pause that video, took my phone, did a voice note to my husband, apologizing for what happened in the morning.
Wow.
In the middle of that, my parenting journey with that particular, I had to pause it, send a voice
Mm.
note. When he came back that evening, he was like, okay, what happened? You know, like, okay, I really appreciate what you did. If it was before now, I'm like, you said your own, I said my own, as in, and then we left for work and everybody will be fine at the end. But what was being shared that day, I had to like, oh no, I did wrong. So I had to right this wrong. You know, so all through, from the voice notes, the webinars, so even this my parenting, everything has just been impactful for me. Everything has just
Mm.
been impactful for me. And I'm just super grateful for that. Thank you so much,
Amazing,
baby.
amazing, amazing. You're listening to Dr. Dina Nwanali. I love the part. I love the part. I like how she implements her process. I like how she's been able to actually break it down to the barest minimum. Something happens, she picks one thing and then she runs with it. And then how you're finishing a webinar and you are picking something. She already sat down with her daughter, did a one-on-one with her, and already was able to actually have something out of the conversations that she listened to. For me, that's the biggest part, implementation. It was okay one for I was she was hosting me in her hotel in Lagos, and she said, Coach, we they implement the show. It's not this thing. We're not as
It's
you're
not
talking, we're running. We they implement it, they show. Everybody they steer. I had a good laugh. I said it's only the others that have all kinds of vocabularies. But really, when you actually put in the work, you will see in tangible terms how the thing actually works. And talking about raising the girl with sense, I still think so. I was giving a final review of the book. If you've not pre-ordered that book, all right, all of them, raising the girl with sense, raising the boy you don't need to bail out, the parenting advantage, the trophy child, and sex educate your child like a pro volume four. And then, and then of course, raising the trophy child. One of the things that so I was reviewing, I was giving the final draft. And if you pre-order, don't worry, your book is even going to be ready before the launch date. And we're going to be sending out the books before the launch date. The launch date is the 1st of November, but we're going to be pushing out the books before that. We have copies, I think 13,000 copies already, sold out. And if you're a Yada, of course, it's one of our reads, but one of the things that Raising the Girl with Sense did for me was to begin to actually look at the things that we have normalized. So I was
Mhm.
reviewing it and I saw a part where I was, writing about emotionalism. Let me just share with you a little bit. Let me just give you a sneak peek into the book. And I said that over the years, we've been told that women are very emotional. We've been told that women are emotional being. A woman is just going to be emotional and all of that. All these things that they say to us. But could it be possible that a woman's emotional intelligence is not built intentionally? So we're stuck up in that place where we now become emotionalized. So everything we do is now tied up to, hey, I'm a woman. Hey, and everything rides on it. Every
Yeah.
single thing now rides on it. And then, you are told different things. You're told that, you need to, you're an emotional being, even when you're talking, and then you leverage on that. I'm an emotional being, you don't take responsibility. And then you continue in the I'm an emotional being, and things actually will keep going wrong. And then it's in part one. Part one is rooted in identity, and I was talking about in chapter 4, emotional intelligence and resilience. So people have gone ahead to actually make all those excuses for the girl child. Well, I don't know. No, a woman is born with, so a man's emotional intelligence is a little bit more developed than it is with man. So it's our they are in our natural places. The question is, shouldn't this be developed in an intentional way so that we can become better people? so that we're not those people that we're just going to just say, hey, we're just emotional. That's why we make mistakes. That's why we actually, do wrong things. We just, we are cultured with what I call unhealthy empathy, and that's
Mm.
part of emotionalism. So we're cultured with that unhealthy empathy that says, that says, oh, just you just do it, now. So emotionalism have now become the default program. This is how the chapter started. It says emotionalism often becomes the default program for girls because society from an early age fails to build the emotional intelligence of the girls. We teach the girls to be emotional. We label them to as naturally more sensitive and reactive than the boys. But it's not about innate tendencies. Tendencies. These are social conditioning. We encourage them to express their emotions without helping them understand that these emotions and these feelings should be managed effectively. So girls are taught, just to do, it's your emotion, just throw it out there. Instead of taking it seriously, we encourage them to to cultivate, emotional intelligence. And we find out that the tendency to be ruled by emotions without skills to navigate them constructively. So we raise girls who lack skills to actually navigate constructively what it is that they need to do part time. So everything. So we have conversations. People tell you, "Ah, you're a woman now, you're just emotional, you're not logical." What does that mean? Because there is a conditioning there's a social conditioning. That's not the human brain is built to train. It's built to train. It's just like saying that men are naturally polygamic. I mean, they are,
Mm.
how do you say, polygamous in nature. Or we say no, men are just, they are just like that. It's conditioning. We
Yeah.
raise in disciplined people. I was also, sharing that in raising the boy, you don't need to bail out. We raise in disciplined people. We raise people who don't take responsibility. And most importantly, we raise people who are not accountable. Men who are very unaccountable. And that's started with our parents. Before you start saying it's the children of these days, it's a lie. Our parents raised unaccountable men. Men
Mm-hmm.
from day one who were told they can come home at 10 p.m. while the girls were accountable and they were told that they will come home at 6. He's a man now, so he can flip his pennies anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. But a girl is preached on how to, keep herself pure. So you see this thing, and you begin to know that this is social conditioning, nothing else. Nothing else. That when you are able to actually get to that point, you now begin to take responsibility and start saying things like, we're just emotional people. Women just like to talk, women just like to talk, this thing. Women are just like that. No, we're not just like that. We've been conditioned to be like that. We've been conditioned to become Nyodogu. It's the same thing. So as you're growing up, you're being conditioned to marry a big man. I'm married to, they even call you Adobodo Ibo. Where are my Igbo parents? Where are you
Yes.
guys?
I done the
Adobodo
game.
Ibo. I don't change. What does Adobodo Ibo mean? Adobodo Ibo simply says that, oh, you're going to marry one man that is abroad. And that's why we have our children marry incompetent people in the name of Adobodo Ibo. So you see that all of those things, it's just all social conditioning. You begin to see one of the things that I'm going to talk more about raising the girl that tried at Tuesday Live today, 2 p.m. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to actually be sharing from that book. If you have not pre-order that book, this is your cue. Pre-order now. Yeah, when you read that book, you're going to be on your toes. So the book is like the webinar of raising girls with sense times 10. That's how the book is. So you're going to be reading it and walking. That's the way I wrote the book. I said, you read it and walking around the house. Like what's happening here? I read it, I was like, this is it. Because I have believed that, all of the ways that we have raised the girl child over the years is wrong. We have a wrong conditioning. And then we make the girl flirtatious. We everything's about just negotiate my daughter. And look at you, see your fine shape. Hey, you are constantly praising the things on her body. What are you saying? You are telling her that is sensuality over sense. So we have girls who have zero sense. Zero. But they're all fine, wear long wigs. They are all that. They can be in the bedroom of a king, but they cannot fit on the bedroom of a king. So that so there's a lot of senselessness, senselessness in the way that we're raising our girls. And for me, everything that even when you go for seminars, you hear things. The way we are conditioning girls is bad. And what people are now coming up to do with the seminars is that we're not raising girls who are now rebelling against the male folk. That's not what it is. It's not rebellion. It's not we're not teaching things like what a man can do, a woman can do better. What exactly is that? Is it competition? So you see that there's a whole new gap. You can see how passionate I am. Alrighty, sorry about that. I got cut off. Since I still live in Nigeria, I'm going to be like a Lombok and start doing my own satellite in the air. Go. All right. So of course, at the end of the day, you now find out that we now raise girls that we're not fighting. So you go for a girl child day seminar, International Day of the Girl Child. What we're teaching the girls that you can do it, you can do it more than the boys. Is that the conversation? That's not the conversation. Where are we getting we're still using the boys as a goalpost. Why? Is it the same thing at the other extreme? The same thing. Why are we using a boy child as a goalpost? Oh, you can do. Why are we in competition? God created us different. Why are we competing? Why want to do what a man can do? I've never been able to understand it. And I wrote a chapter on it. I've never been able to understand why I want to do what a man can do. Am I a man? And I wrote on feminism. Feminism is my core. I want to be feminine. I want to be a girl and live in my girlness. I have no business being a man. I hate being a man. Sorry. I love being a girl. I'm not in competition with it. I don't want to do what a man can do. I want the man to do what he can do. Let me do what I can do. So you see that our teachings are, are just, we're still using the boy child as a goalpost. So we're still using the male as a goalpost. And this is something that we need to break. It's something that we need to stop. It's something that we need to rewire. It's something that we need to. It's unhealthy. And now we're not raising girls who now hate men. We're not raising girls who now say to you, I don't want to marry. I will not marry a girl. I will not be in a relation. What is all that? Why are we creating the hate? So I now see a hate culture. And now see a hate culture. Where do we bring the balance? So the raising the girl with sense is about bringing the balance. It's about raising your child to be a girl. It's not raising her to be in competition or raising her to attract a boy. It's not that's not what it is. So there's no competition, there is no attraction, the girl is just here to fulfill her destiny. And I wrote about the girl being a helper of mankind, not a helper of one man. So hey, this is your key. If you're helping one man, you are wrong. Okay, you are live with Dr. Dina Nwanali, and you are listening to my intentional parenting journey. Dr. Dina, talk to us. What would be your favorite book? So let's do 2 or 3 in the inner circle and why.
Okay, so the first would be the genesis of TIP, connect to correct. That's the genesis. That's the like the foundation of which every other thing hinges on. So connect to correct again. It opened my eyes to the things that I had missed from my own background, and then for me, what I am going to be doing moving forward with my children. Okay, so I came from where, okay, I didn't have a fantastic relationship with my mom. It's not like we're fighting. I've always been that easygoing child and everything, but coming from a very religious background where everything is strictly the scriptures, don't do this one, don't do that, don't do this one, don't do so that connection wasn't really there. Like, when you're growing up, the puberty stage, where like we have learned in TIP, now that my daughter is 11 and I'm seeing signs of puberty and we're able to talk about these things. In fact, there was a time I came back from work and immediately I came back, she just dragged me into her room. Like, come, let me tell you something. I'm saying this. The way she dragged me, I was thinking it was what kind. It was just something else that was happening in her body again that she noticed that she didn't even allow me to see. She just dragged my hand and entered her room. And I didn't have that kind of stuff with my own mom.
Mm.
And so connect to correct actually helped me to connect with my children and they know how to correct them. Before you correct a child, you must have that connection first. So that book was just a game changer for me. It was my number one book. And secondly, another book would be um, Discipline is Not an Emergency. Oh, I love that book a lot. It's not, I love that book because, in the African, coming from where we're coming from, what will happen is that when a child does something wrong, everybody just expecting you to just lash out on the child and all of that. But that book opened my eyes to there's difference between punishment and consequences now. It's not an emergency. Did any what happened? What really have you sat down to actually analyze this thing? So discipline is not an emergency. Opened my eyes also on how to navigate my children's mistakes. Know how to mete out the appropriate consequence and when to also just know what to do. Then the third book would be what we are reading this month already, Raising the Independent Thinking Child. I love that book. It was the first time I got that book and I was reading it. I jumped on, I went to show my husband, look at. And he read it. I was like, I agree. Oh, I agree with this. When we're talking about the skills and then the tools, the different tools to be used, using their mistakes and all the other tools there. As I read the book that first time, I was like, so that book helped me to know the appropriate um, skills for age appropriate skills for my children, what they should be doing at certain ages, the kind of responsibility you have to give them. Because I've also come to understand that never do for a child what they can do for themselves. I'm of that school of thought. I will not do for you. As simple as filling your water bottle a night before. If you don't fill your water bottle, I will put your empty, where you know how to deal with it. If you forget your cutlery, my son forgot his phone. He forgot one of his cutleries. Was it yesterday morning? So when he came back from school, I was like, so how did you manage to eat your food since you didn't go with your spoon? Because I remember I told you, pack your cutleries, pack yours, but you didn't pack. I saw your cutlery at home. I think he said he had to go to the kitchen, their school kitchen, to request for a cutlery because they know. My daughter will tell you, if you forget anything, mommy will not come to school to give you. Because these are the things I know that you can do for yourself. If you forget any book, whatever consequence they will mete out to you at school, you go and face it. Because we are trying to raise children who will be responsible over their things and being responsible there. So raising the independent thinking child really helped me in that aspect to know that a dependent child, you know, would a dependent child is a child that will keep on being demanding.
Yeah.
If you don't raise an independent, you even when in your old age, you will still be worried about your child is 40, your son is 40, you're still thinking, I'm still trying to build this child. I don't want to be that kind of a parent. No, I don't want to be. So being in the inner circle and reading all of these books is just helping me, not to make those mistakes that I would have made if I wasn't in the inner circle. So those three books
Amazing.
are my top books.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I don't know if Doctor. I like raising the independent thinking child a lot. I was still we're doing review yesterday, so let's listen. I like it a lot because it is one book you can get now and you can practice now. But I think that all my books are like that. No, but
Yeah.
one thing about the independent thinking child is that you're able to open it and look at a tool and say, okay, so this is what I need to do with this tool. And then you stand up and say, this tool today, I will do it today. You don't need any
Yes.
magician, you don't need any preacher, you don't need a deliverer, you don't need anything. It can be a tool as simple as appreciation.
Yeah.
That can be the tool, you know, that can be the skill that you need to build. And it chronicles. I remember when I wrote that book, I have written it is in three parts. I have written it the way I wanted to write it. And I was on my way to the US. I was in the plane, and I opened the manuscript because what I do when I'm on long trip is that I'm reading or I'm writing, right? I'm not a screen person. So of course I was trying to actually go through my laptop, and I heard cancel it. I, I had written the co-manuscript and I cancel it. That's not the manuscript. I said, what? Hey, that cannot be me. You don't understand. I finished this book. It was ready to go to the editors and everything. I had cancel it. Hey, I looked at it. I said, okay, since we need to cancel this book,
Hmm.
so no problem. What do we need to write? I canceled it and I traveled to the US, finished what I was doing in the US, started coming back, and I had what to write in the book. So, I've written over the years, in 7 years, and one of the things that I've been able to actually see is there's a realm of book writing. I will stop there. I will stop there. A realm of revelation. And not everybody get that, but it did. There's a realm of revelation when it comes to writing books. Like there's a realm that you get to it's now beyond what you know yourself. It has now gotten to a point where God wants you to deliver to a nation at a time. And if you are unyielding, then you won't understand it. You won't get it, at the time. So yes, if you are listening to us, these are the books. You're going to read all of these books. Discipline is not an emergency. Many people have said that this is their best. This because in Africa we have a theme for not just Africa. I think world over we have a theme for discipline. We struggle with discipline everywhere in the world. There's a struggle with maintaining discipline. There's a struggle for understanding what it is that discipline should be. So I am given to discipline. My core is connection and discipline. That's what I'm called to do. So I understand it, at the tips of my fingers. And writing any book on discipline is excites me, really. I'm currently writing a book that talks about discipline not being obedient. Yeah, yeah. As in, you're writing a book, you're like, yes, this is it. So discipline is not an emergency, is the book that it just helps you align, a lot. I would, Connect to Correct is one of those books that everybody doesn't stop talking about. And it's even interesting to note that, of course, in some countries, like in Norway, they used it to craft both discipline is not an emergent, Connect to Correct and the discipline that works. They use it to craft their disciplinary strategy in some of their schools and a few other places. Connect to Correct was me finding that space where parents will need to get to the point where they understand that parenting is about connection first. Before we start this correction, can we even
Yeah.
connect? Can we even connect? Right? And that was the mother of all of the books, if I may, right? It was my pastor, my new pastor in church, that I sat down on in one sitting I read Connect to Correct, and I was asking myself, where have I been? I was asking myself, where have I been? You're listening to Dr. Dina Nwanali. And if you're listening to me this morning, if you get into the inner circle, you shall read. Hmm. There's nothing like I don't like to read. You will read. It's either you read by force, you read by whatever. You see some parents who have book review. They read the book. Hey, I have book review. They are reading 10 chapters a day. It's okay. However you want to do it, you will shall read, shall. So
You
reading is, we've come to a place, I have come to a place where I realize that there's a certain aspect of your life that never get unlocked. Never until you actually
yeah.
take readings. I'm married to someone who reads, a lot. When I got married to God, he thought he said, I thought say, this guy, the Professor Pikin, I they read PC. Then when I met you, my eye clear. I was like, who is this? Who is this? I was raised to read. I was raised to learn. I wasn't raised to pass exams. So I get it. I'm able to actually really learn, research, sit down, do things, and be able to actually get it out. So yes, that's one of the things that you're going to learn in the academy. Part of what we're doing next year is to put up a part of the curriculum, how to learning how to think. Because I've realized that it's something that we are not taught how to actually sit down, think through a process, and bring down result from it. So if you haven't registered for the inner circle, this is your cue. Dr. Dina, someone is listening to you now. I'm wondering, so all these things that they are saying, these are all the things they do. Are you sure that I don't have time for it? My job is very busy. Are you sure I can even pay for it? All this money, why? Because I want to be in the inner circle so that, so that what will happen? Are you sure that her child started speaking more because, she started doing tools in the inner circle? Oh? Their own is better. Oh. I don't think me, I can do this thing. Speak to them. They are listening to you, ma.
Okay. First and foremost, for whoever is thinking this way, that's even the reason why you should come to the inner circle, so that this mindset will be changed. Number one, because you need a whole new mindset, concerning parenting. Inner circle. One of the things that inner circle has done for me, inner circle is a place of refinery for me. It's my own refinery. That's how I say inner circle, because I know how I came in, and I know who I am now already. I came in not knowing myself, even as, of course, I'm a doctor. I've been practicing for years, but I didn't really know who I was until I got into the inner circle. I didn't know who I was. I hadn't met with myself. But in the inner circle, I met with myself, and I had to sit down like, okay, this is me. So one of the things that inner circle will do for you is you will be able to know who you are. There's no, you can't be, you can't be too, if as long as you have children, you will do the time either now or later. You must do the time. You must do the time. So it's better you do it now that you're still able to, chart their courses, chart the course of your children. You're still able to guide them on the right path. You're still able to script them. We are all scripters as parents, especially when we have young children, than when they are now older, when they are already set on their path. You won't be able to make so much of a difference by then. So I would say to whoever that is not in this inner circle yet, or maybe you're in the inner circle and you're thinking of, well, let me just go and rest for some time. If you rest for some time, you're coming back with plenty legions, plenty lions running after you again. You know how the Bible puts it. So stay put in the inner circle. If you are here already, please find a way to continue staying in there. If you are here to join, then you have time. Don't say you don't have time. You have. If I have time, if I can rearrange my priorities, I know you have time. There are a lot of professionals here that are extremely very, very busy people, but we are all here. We are reading the books. We are doing the tools. No, you can't say, yeah. You don't. We all have that 24 hours. We all have it. It's just for you to reset your priorities and know what is important to you. If parenting is important to you, you will find time. People find time for what is important to them. If you say you don't have time, it means that your parenting isn't important to you. That's just the truth. There's no denying it. You won't say, oh, I want to raise my children well, but I don't have time. No, that means it's not important to you, because the things that are important to us, we find time for them. So I would implore every parent out there, come and taste first. Just come first and see. We are not, this coach did not pay us to say these things. I have not had any face-to-face conversation with coach or anything. Even before now, we've not had any on what to say or what not, nothing as such. So it's not like is a doctored report or any of those things. No, it's not. These things are the things that we have tasted. The Bible says, taste and see. So we have
Mm.
tasted and we have seen it that it works. The tiniest of implementation gives results than the
Mm.
intentions you have in your heart that I want my child to be like Elon. Your child cannot be Elon Musk when you're not adding to your knowledge. You don't even have any knowledge at all. So how can you raise a child that is a genius? So I want to say, find time. Create. In fact, it's not about finding time. Rearrange your priorities and get into the inner circle, and then you will be grateful for it. So that's my watch for them. Then I forgot to add, code.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that inner circle taught me was or is servant leadership. I've been an assistant team lead for 2 straight years, and there were times when I would feel like typing and chatting coach, like, in fact, these people are disturbing me. I want to like, I will not know now. I will like, only ordinary this cohort. How about coach that manages at different level? What do you guys know that to do? So I learned from you, coach. And I want to say a big shout out to Professor Chris Sweke. He was my team lead in the first year, and he did a fantastic job, helping me to navigate the whole journey of TIP. I learned so much from him, and I want to say a big shout out to him. And then to my currently Pastor Chris again. When they paired with the other, I said, "Are you pairing me with Chris?" Chris. It was very funny for me, and I laughed about it. But I've been able to learn leadership, servant leadership. How, before I just feel that no, I can't call anybody that I'm older than Mahosa. No, I can't now. Abba, you know. But when I when when I saw coach calling everybody Masa, I have to learn. Even at work, like I'll be entering the biodata of my patients, and I'm seeing their age. I'm like, I'm even 10 years older than this person. Why would I say sir? I will even. But when I got into TIP, no, I had to learn. I really had to learn that for you to be able to lead, you need to like that humility agbada, you have to put it on. So that's one thing that I also got. I forgot to add initially. Thank
Amazing,
you, man.
amazing. You have watched Dr. Tina Wali. I love this part. Dr. Tina Wali have been a cohort lead for 2 years straight. I know have worked. Shout out to all the cohort leads. You guys don't know what happens in the backyard. You guys don't know how it takes that do all of the work that they do. Shout out to you guys. Professor Chris have done cohort leadership for years. Dr. Molola, Coach Mary Bird, Pastor Chris Kadiri, we have Pastor Matthew May, and the men, the way they lead, on the run, and and it's been amazing. Sandra Odukwe, we have amazing, cohort leaders, and one thing that is very interesting, like Dr. Dina said, is learning how to serve. Most of us don't know how to serve. Most of us don't know how to actually be in that position to lead because we just think once I'm on top, everybody under me. Why do we know, like Dr. Dina said, why am I not older than this person? Why am I saying this person? And I just think that it's a leveling, place. When you look at how
Yeah.
Jesus served, Jesus even came to the place where he had to wash the feet of the disciples. Being a savior, that's very instructive for me all the time. So irrespective of, somebody sent me a chat and I said, oh, thank you, ma. And then she said, ma, I'm coach. I'm only a young girl in my 20s. I said, no, don't worry, it doesn't matter. You're fine. You're my client and it's okay. And she was like, really? I said, yes, really. And it's just perfect. And she was like, okay, I'm already telling a lot. I'm not joining in. So if you're here, and you're here, please say shout out to all the cohort leaders, send flowers to them. But while you're doing that, I want you to look at your screen, take a screenshot, ensure that you register for Inner Circle. Dr. Dina, what will be your last words as we round off now?
Okay, so my last words would be that TIP, there's no going as long as this earth remains and the whole TIP system remains. We are here for it. We are here for it. TIP is I sincerely just pray that every parent get to meet with TIP, because I think if we can have every parent into the academy, the world will be a better place, really.
Mm,
Because when we look at what's happening in our societies, everybody came from a family. And that's just, we all came from a family. And if the things are not being right from the family front, the society won't be right. So, as much as it lies in us, let's try to spread the TIP news and get as much people as possible into this system. If you can pay for someone to be here, please do. If you can, get, just don't keep quiet, don't keep silent about when something good is happening to you. I don't keep quiet. I express it. I try to tell people this is where I'm drinking from. This is what I'm doing. This is where all of these changes that you're seeing in me, this is where it's coming from. Even for my children's school head, I've been telling her about TIP, and I'm trusting that she will soon be here. So let's not keep quiet. Let's not TIP is working. It's working for us. It work with it show. As in, they work with it show, as someone rightly said. There is no it's not a guessing game. You put in the work, you are getting the results. So, and I want to encourage for the first time yarders that may seem bamboozled with the whole system, just relax. Take another year. The new year you will get to understand. Even when sometimes you don't understand some of it too, you can reach out to your team leads for support. If you're having any struggle, any challenge, maybe you're reading, or even personal health, just reach out. The cohort leads they are very open-minded people that can hold
yeah,
your hands to help
yeah.
you navigate. Right? Please don't keep quiet when you're going through any challenge. We are all
Mm.
here. We are a tribe of people, of like-minded people. So don't go through life alone. We're not meant to do life alone.
Yes,
We
yes,
don't do.
yes.
That's why you
Boundary.
have this community. Yeah. So that's what I would just encourage everyone out there.
Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing. I love the last part. Please do not do life alone. Nobody does life alone and succeed. You will crumble if you do life alone. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Dina Nwanali. And it's been so amazing. I want to say thank you for the work you do, even at the academy and even out of the academy. We see you. We see you. And thank you to all the cohort leaders. You guys do not know, of course. When we say, people look at me and they say, I will do so much work. I say, no, we have to gift of men. And we know when we enter that realm. And it's not the gift of men is not about a particular person. It's about men. If a man is not here, another man will come. It is a men thing. It is. We don't know where the men will come from, but we have the gift of men. We entered into that realm and we knew when it is that we got there. We want to say thank you for being part of our gift of men in the academy. Not take you for granted. Of course, you know that I love you. I honor you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for taking out your time in your busy schedule to be here. We really do appreciate you. We're going to let you go. And yes, of course, when you see the other who have been in the yard for more than a year, when they talk is different. They can be here for 3 hours talking
Yeah.
TIP. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. My love to the family and your husband. All
Thank you.
righty. So you just listened to Dr. Dina Wadley. Who else enjoyed this session today? I did. I am particularly excited. One of the last things that she said was that we don't do life alone, we do life in communities. Every time when things happen to me, I'm able to actually see what are the things that would have happened and how is it that would have navigated. I usually say that the inner circle is the biggest assembly of collective intelligence. And apart from collective intelligence, support. I remember that anything you find, anything you want to look for in the inner circle, what do you want to look for? I said, recently to inner circle for the parents. My dad was in surgery and we were coming out and he was a yada father that was part of the surgeons. And I was like, come on now. What are we talking about? Like, we have built a thing here. If you're not part of this community, now you do yourself. Remember that admission is once every year. Once, only once. We admit people 1st of December every year. If you miss this cohort, you will miss out. till next year. And are you wondering what will happen to you in the inner circle? Trust me, if you do 1 month in the inner circle and you don't find yourself transformed, in fact, one day after the induction, and you don't become uncomfortable on your chair, then come back for money bank guarantee. It was Ruth Baba that said, we are making now. Who can refund you? We have the who is who. Talk about it. It's no longer us that need to brag. The inner circle parents will tell you, don't worry, we'll give you money back guarantee. Did you implement this? If you did, I didn't see result, because I know with exactitude what it is that I've been sent to do in my generation. This is me signing out today for me to see you at 2 p.m. Remember, we're talking about how to raise a girl who will thrive in the 21st century. And you're going to be at that class at 2 p.m. It's free. Invite your family and friends. We're going to be teaching 2 to 3. You don't want to miss it. But while at it, do not forget that yes, we are going back to the yard to continue our conversation as usual. If you haven't registered, it's 100,000 naira a year or 170,000 naira per annum for the couple. All right. There's supposed to be an increment of this fee by now, but we have, and put that increment, down to get effect. I think the team had said in November, please ensure that you book in your slots so that you don't be met with that, increment where, it is that is going. All right. So this is me saying to you that what you need in your parenting journey is for you to actually focus. When you see everybody who is the inner circle, they tell you that if it's about the inner circle, you implement it. You just do. Right? That's what we say. When they implement it, they show. We're not teaching you kalu. We know with exactitude where it is that we're going. See you in the yard. My name is Wendy Ulogi, and I'm effortlessly your number one parent coach. Do not forget that we're in Benin this weekend. Don't forget. Benin Yadas, are you here? If you are in Benin, all right, or you know anyone in Benin, shout out to them. Tell them that something is happening. We are coming to Benin on Friday, and on Saturday, we're going to be having TIP Summit Benin. TIP Summit Benin, it's happening. And of course, and then we also have TIP Summit UK. And don't also forget to be part of the book, sales that is going to the pre-order, so you can get my new books and be part of the process. Thank you so much, and do have an amazing day.
TIP Summit is coming to Benin on the 19th October 2024. Benin, are you ready for an amazing experience? After shaking up Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Lagos, we are finally bringing the full energy to Benin.
Join Coach Wendy and other phenomenal coaches on October 19, 2024 at the Unusual Conference Center opposite Emporium JBS Estate off Badagry and Sapele Road, GRA, Benin City.
This is your opportunity to become a part of the Intentional Parent Academy, a movement that has been shaping lives, families, and futures. Best part, the event has been paid for in full, so you and everybody you know can attend for free.
This summit is not just an event, it's an experience that is going to equip you and empower you for the parenting journey ahead.
Share with your family, friends, and fellow parents. Let's come together and make Benin City the next city to stand still.
Birmingham, are you ready? On the 26th of October, Coach Wendy is coming to Birmingham.
So what can you expect? Parenting insights that will help revolutionize your approach. Mindset shifts that will help you raise confident and empowered kids. Support and encouragement from a community of like-minded parents. You don't want to miss it.
It's a networking opportunity within a thriving parenting community. And it's also a place where you get real-life examples and solutions to your parenting roadblocks. It's going to be a judgment-free zone where you're open to discuss all your parenting concerns. And it's an opportunity to learn and to be impacted by a world-class parent coach.
It's going to be amazing, insightful, and life-transforming.
Coach Wendy, Coach Kunle, and Coach Ebuka will be speaking to us on this day conference. You don't want to miss it.
Come and receive skills, tools, strategies that will help you in your parenting.
To register, use the link on the screen or scan the barcode to pay the fee of £53.
Arrival time is 9:15 British Standard Time.
I will certainly be there.
I will be there.